That's next level.
Doesn't seem like it's possible. Doesn't seem like it's real. Even in someone in the fitness space.
Dude, I would almost.
Check. Check 1, check 2.
All right, well, we're going to see how long this lasts, folks.
Dude, I have not touched anything.
I know. I'm telling you. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding, dude. Todd's going to be a believer one of these days, y'all. My name is Ken. You know what I'm here to do. Welcome to We Are One. I'm a reality researcher. This is Todd Cave, the Conscious Man 7. You guys, oh shit, there it goes again. It better come back. I'm gonna snap back into it. These gremlins, these little Rocco's Basilics are getting us. Todd's been kicked off and muted multiple times, so nobody's trying to hear what he says. Can you speak? Are you still on? Because you muted it again.
Yeah, I can hear you now, and
Okay.
I think that I can mute myself now and what's not. So yeah.
Okay. You were just testing it out. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, last time we were talking, I told you my phone got set in the DOS mode because I had things on there that I was showing in my experience. I was trying to reboot them up, get conversations, just document another perspective. I actually, what I did was when that cable box incident happened about 4.5 years ago, when I found the cable box 9 months later sitting on top of my dryer, and I did record the footage of the house. So I sold the house since then. I know the guy, he's selling it again. Before he's finished the sale of the house, I went and talked to him and I said, hey man, you're not going to believe this, but he's a real cool dude. He's from South Africa. Play golf with him every once in a while, but I recorded the whole thing of where things are. So people will actually get to see it. I'll put that video up probably this week. But anyway, I talked to my family after I found that cable box and I said, hey, remember that thing I lost? And I had it on, I was videoing the whole thing. And I was like, can you guys talk about it? I don't want to put words in your mouth. What was it? Was I, can you tell me how much of a big deal it was to me and all that stuff? And they all went around the room and they knew what I was talking about. So it wasn't me imagining stuff. And they said, my son said, did you find it? I said, don't fuck with me. Don't play with me. If you know what I'm talking about, then you better speak up. Because if you don't tell me I'm going crazy, something's up. And he was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Did you find it? I said, it appeared in the dryer today. And he was like, huh? I said, here it is. And they were like, yeah, I ain't never seen that thing. So yes, these Rocco's Basilic, these gremlins, Todd, they might be coming for you now that I passed on the. Do you know one of my tenants, right? If you believe it, you'll see it.
Well, dude, the last show that we did, right? My computer completely stopped working. It wouldn't. It just kept this cycle of rebooting itself, and I had to go and take it to the shop and basically get Windows reinstalled on it and everything like that. It was insane.
Mine too. Literally, mine too. Mine happened a month ago, so before yours. But Windows on my other computer, I'm not using it. Windows on that computer doesn't work properly. I can't bring up Microsoft. I can't use Excel. I can't use Word. I can't use Teams. I can't use so I can use Outlook, but only not. I can't use Outlook to send an email. It's still there, but it won't connect. So Microsoft doesn't work on that one no more.
But dude, I will show you something, right? I did a show with Paranoid American about 2 months ago.
Oh, I've seen that dude lately, like within the last month. I never heard of him before.
Yeah, that's good cool. Dude. And basically, we were going to delve into Freemasonry and secret societies and all that kind of stuff. And dude, I could not. My camera would not work on Zoom. I was hosting the show, and my mic started to mess around. Camera wouldn't work. Zoom kicked me out, and I came back in. And basically, we had to end up using his platform to record the show, and then he had to give me the file because Zoom just would not work that day. So now I use a completely different platform now. So you know what I mean? Because I have heard people told me before that when you talk about certain things on Zoom acts up, and I have confirmation that is the case, right? So that happened to me. And the thing is, we didn't even go that deep, but.
We got some shit to talk about today, man. And I had other questions that I had, like one question about Jesus and things like that we didn't get into, but I talked about it. I know you do psychedelics. I have another friend that I met at the International Mandela Effect Conference about 3 weeks ago in Nashville. So we can talk about that a little bit, but he's a shaman. He's just, most people who don't understand what the Mandela effect is just think it's false memory, or they don't know exactly what that whole connotation is. I got really bent out of shape when there was a speaker that was coming in via Zoom, and he kept saying it was, his title of his experiment. He was a researcher. His experiment kept saying, Mandela effect and false memory. And I was like, am I the only one in here that's going to say something? Like, this isn't false memory. Please stop using that terminology, because it's more like a reality shift. It's fabric of reality. And the only way that I can make those two connections right now is because before this conversation, I turned on YouTube, and this guy's in my area. He's in my city. Everybody's in Tampa. Come holler at me. I know y'all don't have shit on what I got for experience-wise. You may have knowledge that we need to talk about. But Danny Jones, today, he just released a video, and it's called New DMT Experiment Finds Alien Codes Hidden in the Fabric of Reality. I can't speak to that. I'm hoping you can, as far as what DMT does to you. Here's a little synopsis of what this video is. I'm going to give him a little shout out, even though nobody really watches this because you can't find me anyway. This guy, Danny Goller. Do you know who Danny Goller is?
No, never heard of him.
Okay. You may have seen him before, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think he's a YouTuber. I think he's just one of those people who's in the psychedelic realm on YouTube, maybe, guest or something. But he got this hit. And I'm going to tell you that I think there's no original thought. I believe there's no original thought, because I had a dream about 6 months ago that we were having, that everything in this reality was a stream. So there were 7 streams. It was told to me almost like I was psychedelic. There's 7 streams of consciousness. I can't break them down because I don't know. It wasn't explained to me how it was, but like nature was a stream. NPCs, was a stream. Matter's a stream. Different streams. And that's how you can break these things up upon frequency and things like that. So this guy took a hit of DMT and did a laser experiment, and he's backed it up now with multiple people. And he says that when you're on DMT, you can see codes in the lasers. That's part of this YouTube video. So I shot it to you. I don't know. You probably haven't had a chance to look at it yet. That's cool. But and everybody's reading the same codes.
Well, I remember I had an experience with ayahuasca where I actually started to see. I got connected to the Akashic records, and basically it was really late in my trip, and I was trying to download them, but they're like petabytes, you know what I mean? Because this is the living memory of your entire life plus everyone else's life, the entire history of the cosmos that you're trying to download.
Anything that's been observed by someone.
Yeah. So it was only like in the last half an hour of my trip that half an hour to 45 minutes of my trip that I connected to it, and I was trying to download it, but there was a lot of codes, right, in it. It was like, from my memory, it was like binary, the ones and zeros. That's how it was to me. And it was just like flashing like super, super quick. And then I also saw like sacred geometry and that kind of stuff. But I couldn't really understand it, because it was just like, it was just like so much. It felt like I took my brain and put a USB stick into it, and I was downloading the information in it. And this was like really early in my entire journey, my entire spiritual journey, and of the medicine as well. So I am not surprised with what he's saying, because what I have realized is that psychedelics are a gateway. They're like a portal to the dream world, because one of the things that has happened to me in my experience with the medicine is that I have connected to my higher self, and I have connected with my higher self both in the dream state, i.e. when I was dreaming, and also in a meditative state, which is also the dream state, and also in a psychedelic state, which is basically the same thing. Because when you're dreaming, you're actually entering the astral planes. And the astral planes are very, very similar to what you would call a different dimension or different consciousness. So what I like about psychedelics is that they help you to pierce the veil of perception of reality with minimal effort, because in order to get that done through meditation, it takes a lot of effort. It takes some skill, because you have to end up quieting the mind. You have to allow the
Detach.
correct. You need to allow the presence to take over, and you have to basically. It's not a matter of emptying your mind, but is becoming so aware of your thoughts that you become detached from them. So they're like still there, but they're like on the peripheral, and they're not in your focal point, if that makes sense. Because what happens is that with me, and this happens with most people who do meditations, that you'll be in a meditative state and you'll be feeling connected, and then all of a sudden you get a random thought like, oh, I need to go and run that errand later today at 11 o'clock. And then you would start to focus all your attention on that, and then you have to realize, hold on a minute, I need to come back, right? And before you know it, that sometimes 5 minutes have gone, maybe even 10 minutes, you never know, right? So that's one of the things I love about new medicine, because you don't have those breakages in experience or thought, right? Because your medicine opens up the portals, and then you're full on into it, right? So it's only if the ayahuasca is weak that can happen, because I had an experience like that where I started to get into it, but I had to like really focus and concentrate in order to stay in that state. And with ayahuasca, once it's strong enough, you don't have that problem. You know what I'm saying? So my higher self, he said to me that he can only be accessed in the dream state or in the dream world.
Only be at what? At rest?
He can only be accessed.
Accessed. Okay. Accessed. Okay.
In the dream state. So that was very, very clear to me, because he said to me, I am not in your plane of existence.
So what is the higher self to you? What I mean, is that a percentage of you that's still in the astral realm, or at source, or somewhere in another dimension? Or do you think that it is like a twin flame kind of thing? Do you think it's a part of your soul family? What do you think that your higher self? Do you think it's actually you, percentage wise? With like I use the term of a tether. Like I have a tether, and if I access like a cable wire or a high speed internet, then I can when I'm getting downloads, or when I'm getting imagery or ideas or whatever it is, that's me connecting to my tether. So I would agree with you. What do you think that it is?
That's a good question. And I have asked other people in this sort of like genre of information, and they all have given me different answers. So I'm going to tell you what my understanding is, combined with what I have read and what people have told me. So it appears that there are multiple versions of you at different dimensions or levels or densities. And because now because you call it your higher self, you have like a oversoul, which should be the one that connects you directly into the source, right? Which would be like your access point. And then under that, there seem to be different versions of you at different timelines where you have made different choices in your life. So you're at a different stage. So my higher self, I know it is me because it is my own voice that speaks to me. It comes to me either when I'm dreaming, like I'm actually physically in bed, in a meditative state, or when I'm with the medicine. And I am not sure at what level the higher self is that I'm connecting with. But what I do know is that it asks me some profound questions and tells me some profound things. Now, other people have said that, and this part here, no, I akin to like how the Doctor Strange movie was, where when he went to different in the multiverse, and there is some thought out there that the multiverse movie with Doctor Strange is exactly how it is with us. Because we're infinite potential, there are different levels of us. So we're in the third dimension. So there's a thought in the fourth, fifth, sixth, and all the way right back up to source. And when you are right back when you like the oversoul, seems to be the last version of you before you enter into the full source. This is why I say to people that when you look at these ancient texts, they very much hint that you are the source and the source is you, but you're just a fractal of the source, which contains the entirety of the source. So you have the same abilities and powers, because in reality, we are God. And the reason why I make that statement is that, okay, religion tells us that there's a judgment day. Okay, let's run with that. Let's play devil's advocate here. So if there's a judgment day and Christ says that I have not come to judge, I have reserved judgment for the Son. This is the part that gets Christians in a twist, because to be a Christian, you literally have to disregard everything that Christ said, to follow the dogma and believe what people are telling you. He says specifically, I did not come to judge. I have reserved judgment for the Son. Who are the Son and the sons? It is all of us. Who knows everything that you've ever said, thought, and done? You. You're the only one that knows everything that you've ever said, done, or thought, even in your past lives, because you have soul memories, right? So if we are the only ones, if we're the ones that judge, if we're the ones that know everything, it means then that we all also are part of the source, but we make up the source. And the way I like to describe it is that you can look at it as like a hand, right? A hand has 5 fingers. Each finger represents the hand. So if you cut off one of the fingers, even though it's a finger you cut off, it is still the hand. Those 5 fingers make a fist. Those 5 fingers together make up the body of Christ. And also, one of those fingers, because it is the body of the Christ, and the Christ is the crystalline consciousness, which is the access point, is the entry into this understanding. It means then that because you become the Christ, and Christ says that to get to the Father is through him. But there's what the Christians don't get. They take it literally. It is through the consciousness. It's through the understanding. It's through the perception that he had that you access into the source. This is where you're able to use both the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain. This is where you become perfectly balanced, both male and female. This is where it talks about the bride and the bridegroom, the marriage. So some things are allegorical, some things are literal, and some things are a combination of both. So if according to Christians that Christ is God, because then that is a literal belief that they have, but through the consciousness of Christ, you get into the source, but you're a part of the source. It's just like if you go to the beach and you take a cup and you take out some water, the water in the cup is still the sea, right? It has the same exact attributes. That is what we are. The body has in the spirit. So if the body is the container or the vessel encapsulated with the spirit, it means then that if you take part of the spirit, because source is spirit, God is spirit, is ineffable, is omnipresent. So if you take a body and you encapsulate part of the spirit, it means that the spirit in you is still God, is still the source. So you're not the totality, but you have the totality in you, right? So this is the part that a lot of people don't understand. So getting back to what I was saying, it appears then that at different levels, we have a different version of ourselves that possibly took different choices. So it has different outcomes. And at every particular point in this particular reality, we can access that particular version of ourselves, because the future has not yet come yet. So the choices that we make in the present would allow you to connect with that version of yourself. So your highest potential, be your higher self, and especially now what's happening with the ascension that was taking place on the planet, can give you tips or hints or nudges to help you to make the right choices so that you can basically connect with that version of yourself in the timeline that is most beneficial to you. But the thing is that your higher self does not dwell in this realm. So the only way that you can access that is through the dream state, a psychedelic state, or a meditative state. And in most cases, it is your voice. But with some people, it can be an angel, it can be an entity, it could be a being, it could be a past relative or a friend. It doesn't matter. It just means that the guide is different, but the connection is very similar because you're talking about things that are not of this realm. So I can't give people a book that will give you concrete evidence because no one has ever died and come back and tell you what is on the other side. No one has ever gone into one of those dimensions.
But haven't we all died and come back?
Yeah, but we don't have the memory.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So we don't have anyone that has gone into the future.
But if we can access the Akashic records or the Akashic field, then we should be able to come back. Theoretically.
In theory, but this is the thing. What we have now are people that are looking for absolute concrete evidence on things that are not of this world. And the problem with that is that it can either be that you can't have the physical evidence, because if you're talking about a non-physical place, how are you going to be able to have physical evidence? That's a bit of a oxymoron there. You're going to have non-physical evidence. So it means either our perception or our understanding of reality will have to change, or we just don't see enough light, or our level of consciousness is not high enough to understand these things. This is why Christ said, my kingdom is not of this world. And he said the kingdom is inside of you and outside of you, right? But is it a kingdom that you can see physically? No. He's talking about a state of being. This is what a lot of fundamentalist Christians don't get. So it's very, how shall I say, I can't tell someone eat this pill and you will find out this information, read this book and there'll be concrete evidence. It's something that you're going to have to feel and experience yourself. When you've had altered states and you've had direct connections with your higher self, and you have had sort of like out-of-body experiences, or you've astral traveled, then your understanding of these things becomes a little bit better. But it's still difficult to put in words, because we're talking about putting words about a place that is a non-physical place that you can only experience and feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm writing some questions too as you talk. So I got two of them lined up. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so you talk about two things I want you to expound upon in your words. The first one is going to be the soul versus spirit. What's the difference between them? And are they the same? Are they different? How do you define the difference in soul versus spirit?
The soul, from my understanding, appears to be the part of you that stores all of your emotional memories, right? So basically, the soul is the thing that encapsulates, like, has all the past traumas and all the past happiness and all those kind of things. The spirit now is the how should I put it? There is also non-physical, because the soul and the spirit are very similar, but it's almost like they have a symbiotic relationship, where the spirit seems to be the one that allows you to have direct communication with higher entities, i.e. yourself as well. And the soul accompanies that, because that brings all of the memories associated with the experiences you had. So they appear to be different, but at the same time, they seem to be very interconnected. It's almost like a masculine and feminine sort of type of a situation, where the soul seems to be more the thought, and the spirit seems to be more the thought, and the soul seems to be the emotion that is aligned with the thought. This is how it appears to me, from what my research has shown me. So they're sort of like that.
Yeah, I would break it down. Just my own words would be like the soul would be your essence, and the spirit would be your intention, or your I wouldn't say necessarily the emotion, but the intention to go out and find certain things or experience certain things. So your soul is kind of who you are, and your spirit is kind of the way that you look for things or the way you want to experience things. That's just my words. I don't have any. I've done no research on that whatsoever, but they're not the same.
No, they're not the same, but you're saying it in a similar way to me, because it's almost like a masculine and feminine, because the going out and exploring is a very masculine trait.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I could also great point, or a great way to phrase it to me would be the soul could be what's internal, and the spirit is what travels externally.
Could be, because the soul for sure is very attached to feeling, and the spirit seems to be like the guide, the one, like you said, that goes out and searches, the one that does like the work and the connection and the intention. So it very much seems to be a masculine and feminine sort of a polarity connection, where they both need each other in order to thrive.
Yeah. If you guys, anyone watching this has their own opinion, leave it in the comment section. I'm gonna get to my next question for Mr. Conscious Man 7, Todd Cave. Dreams. You mentioned dreams. We're not where we are. I have a quick proof. My proofs are stuff that I have, and that I could prove if somebody really wanted them. I would like to publish some of these, but it's just a lot of work. So I have a Fitbit. I've been going through a lot of stuff lately with some withdrawal symptoms from kratom, taking that crap, or taking. It's not necessarily the tea leaf or the plant portion of it. And I have a whole journey associated with it. It was great, but it's run its course, to be honest, through me. Anyway, long story short, it's the synthetic stuff that kind of gets you. And I was never really like addicted and like that, but the synthetic stuff is in higher doses. So when I stopped taking it for the clarity, my body was going through stuff. I wasn't sleeping. I was going through withdrawal symptoms, depression a little bit, all that kind of stuff. So I'll share my some of my vitamins, which I'd like to get your thoughts on too. But as I was talking about my dreams and not sleeping, about 4 days in a row, I think 4 or 5 days in a row, my Fitbit captures everything: the dream state, the deep sleep, the awake, the REM, all the, and the light. So it captures all that. Like 4 days in a row, I was gone, meaning it captured nothing for hours upon end. And I don't know how that's possible, because it's on my wrist the whole time. It's not out of battery. It's just telling me, instead of saying I went to sleep from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., then I was up from 1 to 3, and it does all these things. It was like I went to bed at 11, closed my eyes, woke up at like 3, couldn't sleep with restless leg syndrome. From 3 to 5, I was up, went to sleep from 5 to 7 on my Fitbit tracker for 4 nights in a row. I was nowhere. I was not awake. I was not asleep. I was nowhere from, say, whatever time I lay down, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, till 3, 4 a.m. every single 4 days, 5 days in a row. Gone, not recorded. So I was somewhere, but I wasn't attached to sleep. So anyway, that's my proof that we go somewhere, even though you can interpret it some other way. You could say it's technical breakdown. You could say it's your Fitbit was broke for 4 exact days in a row, or you could say your phone didn't sync it, whatever you want to say. That's my proof that I told my wife I wasn't there. I was out. I was doing something, or I was trying to recover. I was trying to find myself, trying to find my soul, trying to find my spirit, trying to find my connection, whatever it was to combat these symptoms that my body was saying, yo, help me. And I was like, no.
That is very interesting. Where do we go? That's a good question. What I do know is that dreams, my experiences have been that in the dream state seems to be when we're actually awake, and when we're awake appears to be when we're actually dreaming. And the reason why I say that is that how should I put it? Many of my travels with the medicine has shown me that the dream state is where you're alive. This is where you are actually awake,
free.
and this.
You're free.
Yes. And this is where you have your infinite potential realized. And this is where you're not capped in your abilities. And then when you come back here, supposedly awaken, is when your abilities seem to be, this seems to be when you're actually dreaming, because those abilities that you have when you're in your dreams seem to like disappear. Because I have had a reoccurring dream probably, I don't know, over 100 times, maybe even more. And is exactly the same thing. I am at Liverpool Street Station in England, and I'm waiting for the train, and the train is late, and I just got fed up, and I fly through the tunnel at the exact same time every dream. And people looking at me as I'm starting to levitate, like, if this guy is mad, what's he doing? And I'm just like, see you later. So this is why I say that I think that the dream state and the dream world is the real reality, and here is the illusion. Because I think that this is why it is designed to keep us in it for so long, where we only sleep for 8 hours at most. And when we're like basically awake and doing stuff, we're in the matrix full on. And you only get a break from the matrix when you're actually sleeping. That's the only time you really, really get a break from it. But you're in the thick of it all day, every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this seems to be part of the whole process of us, because this is probably why it's so hard, because according to people like Dolores Cannon, the Earth experience is the hardest experience in the entire galaxy. And we come back here knowing that we will forget all of our abilities, have our memories wiped, and you know that we have these soul contracts that we've made, and we can't even remember them or change them, but we're just wandering through this world, making the same mistakes over and over and over and over, and we die, and then we come back again, and we make the same mistakes, and then we die and we come back again, and it's really painful. And right now it appears that in this procession that we're in now, in terms of we're going into the timeline of Aquarius, where all of these things, this is supposed to be the end of cycles, the end of ages. So they say that all of this rebirth and death cycle will be no more. So I mean, no one has ever died and come back to life and told us what it's like, so we have to wait and see. But what I would say to people is that, this is the time where we should be working on ourselves and getting ourselves in physical shape, mental shape, and spiritual shape, because a lot of tests are coming our way, and who knows where we go from here, But what I do know is that these are the states of being that we're going to have to master, because I mean, some people think that the aliens are going to come and rescue us. Some people think that the character that became the Christ is going to come back to rescue us. Some other people think that a Messiah is going to come back. Who knows? I mean, they could all be right or all wrong at the same time. Who knows? And where do we go from here? That's a very good question. But what I would say is that a lot of information is pointing to that we leave here. But for sure, we all die. Everything in this matrix has a shelf life. Everybody, the one constant is that we all will die at one particular time.
Do you think we will experience death? Do you think that your consciousness will actually experience death?
The consciousness, no, but the body, yes.
Okay, so do you think that is the soul or spirit part of you will experience that?
The body will, but the spirit won't, because
But but if we're not the body, then I'm not trying to cut you off. Sorry, I just wanted to get clarification on. Do you think that you will perceive death? You Todd, the essence of Todd Cave, the essence of this is your body, but
yes.
how do you think that will go? Can you walk me through what you think will happen?
Well, what I'm going to say is based on what Dolores Cannon has said,
Okay.
because obviously I've never died and come back. But she said that in her patients and the people that she's worked with, when they die, there is an outer body experience, and you see yourself outside of yourself. And then after that, there is a very big, bright white light. Now, I have found other people that have said that the white light is the actual trick, and there's a different light that you should follow, which for some strange reason is the blue light. How credible that is, I don't know. But what she's saying is that those that have come back, they saw this white light and they were walking down, and during the process, they were told that it is not their time yet, or they have something to do or to fulfill. And they basically
They were asked to come back.
they were asked to come back or told to come back,
Or
right?
forced. Yes. Yep.
Or forced, one of the two. Now, she says that when you do die, she says there's this thing called the silver cord. And the silver cord is the thing that attaches your spirit to
So
your the body.
for the body. Okay.
So she says that when you actually die and you leave this plane, the silver cord is severed, right? And it's almost like this tether that exists. You know, I imagine it like a spiritual umbilical cord.
Yep. Yep.
And she says that basically when it's your time, the silver cord is severed and you leave. Now, the thing is that other information that I have come across says that basically you're tricked into basically coming back, and it's through actually going down the white light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the white light, so they say, like I said, I don't have proof of this because no one's ever died.
Yep.
Come back,
Yep.
right?
Well, I mean, I think we have, but nobody can remember it.
Right. No one can remember. Yeah, no one can remember. Right?
Nobody can verify.
Verify. Exactly. So what is being said is that you're tricked into going down the path of the white light, and basically this is one of the reasons why in all of the movies they put the white light as the path that you're supposed to go down, because it is a trick for us to subconsciously program us that when we do die, that we go down there, they go down that path, and then what happens that we get captured in the soul capturing machine, and then our souls get recycled and we come back here again.
So what's the difference between the white light and the blue light, and how would Dolores Cannon actually how would she document that to verify any of the blue light stuff? Well, I mean,
that's the thing. I mean, she's only going based on her patients and what they told her.
Who said it? Has any of her patients told her about a blue light that they've gone to, or no? They just saw the blue light.
No, they just saw. They were just talking about the white light. Other sources that I have found, other people have talked about the blue light. Right.
I'm gonna look into that next conversation we have. We're going to talk about the white light versus the blue light. I know all about the soul trap. I know about the relatively. I know about the origins, the Gnostic origins. But it's also in Hindu traditions, the Maya, the illusion. It's in all traditions basically of the illusion of reality and reincarnation going through the light. Some people say it's the moon. I don't want to be a soul trap channel. I don't believe in the soul trap. I'm not ruling it out. Just I don't want to have my focus beyond that, because once you go there, I believe you stay there. But the blue light to me is fascinating because I've never heard about the blue light before, ever. I've not really come across too much Dolores Cannon's material. I know about Aaron Apke, the Law of One, channeling, Ra. I mean, those kind of things. They kind of connect a little bit, but I would be really interested not only to see what has been documented, white light versus blue light, but also even more, I think this would be something to research as well. How close to actual death were these OBEs? Because I think when you sit down and you research and you hear about the stories of people who have sat next to people dying on their deathbeds, their reality is not one of I'm dying. Never. I've not heard of one. In fact, I sat by my dad as he was dying in his bed, and his last words were, "I want to go home." Those were his last words. I want to go home, and he was home. And I believe 100%. Even when he said it, I knew. I believe I knew what he was talking about, and that he wanted to go back to his God or his source, but he wasn't seeing his own demise. I think he was. I saw numerous things of where he was out and when he was back, and when he was like, "Hi, my son," and then he was gone, and he was talking about other things, oblivious to death completely. So I would love to see the research on how close out of body experiences were to actual death, because I think it's 100% different. I think their reality is different. I think their perception is different. And that's why I asked you, what your perception of it was when you die, because I think when you die, you just pierce the veil of reality completely, and this reality goes into another. It just continues into a timeline, and that's why I believe that based on all these things, that's why there are these things called the Mandela effect, reality shifts, parallel reality jumping. Because it's all connected to us. We all live in our own reality bubble. There's an observer effect that has been proven. There are many other things that come leading to the conclusion of this, but same thing. I think that these OBEs, they're not close to death. Their body's not close to death, in my opinion. They may have been hurt or tarnished or kicked out, but as far as when they actually die, it's not close to them. Are you familiar with anything about research about people actually dying and piercing the veil of reality?
I have not read too many out of body experiences, sort of like information, but what I would say is that during that time, you have a lot of DMT that's produced by the brain. So the biggest levels of DMT that are produced in the brain are at childbirth
and
and
death.
at death. So basically, how should I put it? It doesn't necessarily have to be that you almost die to the point of almost death. But I think that with the DMT being produced in your brain, so basically you had a giant hit of ayahuasca, right? At the time when you're about to die, you start to see in beyond, you pierce the veil. You see beyond this reality.
Mhm.
And a lot of people who have actually almost died and come back, most of them are completely different people, because whatever they saw, I don't even know if they can probably put into words. Like I said, I've not read a lot of information on it, but I think that it would be very difficult for them to explain specifically what they saw, because we're talking about things not of this world. And it is very difficult to even when you take psychedelics and you pierce the veil temporarily, it is very difficult to explain specifically in words how you feel, what you saw. Like, I mean, I did a
It's
walk
like
and
trying to
talk,
explain love, but yeah, I get it.
but yeah, it's very
You
hard
can't.
because, like I said, some of these things are things that you can only experience and feel. And
Mhm.
it's difficult for you to use words which are limiting to describe something that has no limit when
Yeah.
you're in that state.
I think what happens, before I let you finish, I think what happens is metaphorically is you take the airplane to heaven or to another realm, and they let you grab a little bit more of your soul. We'll call it a luggage pack. You can have a little more of your essence, and you can go back, and that's why you're changed. You're a little different. You can either grab something from there, or you are regenerated, rejuvenated. You're recharged, maybe. So you're having your memories, but you're also not. You weren't your crippled, suffering, maybe self that you were before.
Yeah, what I have read with people that have had near death experiences is that the vast majority of them have completely changed their lives, completely become different persons.
Perspectives change big
Yeah,
time.
absolutely, right?
Mhm.
And this is what's
And
happened.
they're actually better people. I've never heard of an OBE that somebody came back and they were a worse person, or they were disenchanted, or they were act like they were deceived, which is a lot of the reason I really don't understand the soul trap too much, is because people can say that I was asked to go back, I was forced to go back, even I was made to go, I was tricked to go back, whatever it is. But at no point in time do you hear them go, yeah, but this is horrible. You know, this is horrible. They're always, it's always a positive experience for them. And that's, I know somebody's going to look at this and go, yeah, but that's because they want you to come back and reincarnate the next time. I get it. But like my primary stance about the soul trap theory or soul trap in general has been that if we have enlightened people who are not talking about things like this, the negative suffering and the energy, redistribution, the loosh, why wouldn't you want to get these people like us the fuck out of here? I would want to get them out of the simulation because it's messing it up. Like if I can bring love and not love and light, if I can bring love or experience or compassion or empathy to someone who needs it, that's called a neutral energy to them. That's a neutral effect. If what they are saying is actually the case, and what Loosh is actually meant to do is highs and lows, I'm not helping. Get me out of here. I'm not good for this thing. That's what I would think.
But don't forget that the trap is after you pass through the light in its entirety, is when you go on the other side.
Yeah.
These people that have come back have gone to the light, but they've
not
not gone to the end, right? So according to what I have found, it seems that when you go to the end is where you have the trick, right? And they somehow get you to condemn yourself and blame yourself to come back here again, right? Because there is something that is causing us to keep reincarnating, because I've connected to a past life, so I know who I was 500 years ago. And the thing is that maybe it is just part of our journey as a consciousness. Who knows? But what I do know is that everybody that here is on Earth has been here before. And this is why you meet people and sometimes you just feel like you just know them.
Yeah.
Like this could be a guy or a girl. You just feel like you just get on.
I gotta put an asterisk in there, bud, because I hear what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, but the asterisk is not everyone on Earth is human and has a soul. I'm not gonna believe that anymore. I can't go there anymore. After what I've seen in the past 5 years, if I'm wrong, I want to believe it to see it, but I can't. But I understand what you're saying.
Part of me does agree with you 100%. There's a part of me that agrees with you 100%, because some of the reason why I say that is that the people that basically got tricked during the pandemic, most of them, they're either, okay, if they have been here before, the indoctrination and the brainwashing has been that good.
Yeah. Agreed.
Or they're just that inexperienced as a consciousness. So
could be.
This is why I say,
but we know what we do know. Since what did I just see? I just saw a video like it was in the 50s, and the doctor, he was on the Letterman show. He wrote like 230 books, and he was talking about genetically modifying humans in the 50s, 70 years ago. So while I would love to say that everyone here has a soul and has a consciousness, or that it's on a sliding scale, the reality is there are people who will be made and genetically modified from probably the beginning of our reality, whether it's synthetically or whether it's skin. I mean, have you seen some of these prosthetics that you're moving your fingers, but they're not your hand or your arm?
Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry, man. There's too much proof out there that tells me that there's no way there's no way that every person walking around is not is of natural essence. It's not possible to me.
Okay, that's like I said to you, I both agree and disagree at the same time
Mm-hmm.
because the two parts of me that have two different views, but I do resonate a lot. One part of me, what you're saying. The other part of me that thinks differently is that when you study children, when a child is born, a child is innocent. It doesn't matter what color they are, what religion their family are. It doesn't
Todd, there
matter.
are some kids that are not that innocent as 2-year-olds.
Yeah, but hold on. Why children are a product of their environment? That part is an absolute fact. Children
Excuse
are
me.
influenced by the parents.
Nature versus nurture. Sure. Yep.
So
But
if
how do you reconcile same environment, same genetics, completely different souls and spirits?
yeah, but this is the thing. Everybody has their own personality based on the astrological signs and what time and date and
Okay,
zodiac they were in when they were born.
what do you think that points to? And I'm asking your opinion. What does that point to?
It just shows that whenever you're born, your personality and character is in alignment with the cosmology of the universe.
It's a
At this,
login. It's a login, right? Like you're logged
yes,
in as this.
yes.
So,
But at the same time, your character can be molded and shaped based on your environment. So if you have parents that, for example, only eat junk food and only smoke and drink, there's a very, very high likelihood that the child will end up becoming like that. Because
neurologically challenged. 100% agree. Agree.
so if you have when children are born, children don't know what is bias, children don't know what is hate. We, the adults, are the ones that teach children those things, right? A human being is the only species on earth that teaches its offspring how to be slaves. Children are born innocent, free, and full of love. This is why Christ said that you need to be as like a child in order to enter the kingdom of heaven. And to be in the state of a child is being forgiving and loving. If you take children that are not influenced negatively through either the food they eat, the attitude of the parents, the TV that they watch, the music, and the technology, children would say fight with one another, and then a few minutes later, they're hugging and kissing and making back up. The only reason why they wouldn't do that is because they learned from us, the adults, that is what it is.
But
to prove my point,
Mhm.
have you ever seen a young child swearing? I'm talking 2 and 3
Yeah. Oh
years.
yeah. Bro,
Good.
you know what I do for a living, right?
What's that?
On my board right here, I teach kids sports. 2 years old, 1 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old. I teach them soccer, sports, football. Yeah,
Okay,
basically,
good.
like socially interactive things like that, balancing ability. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I've seen it all the time.
So if a child at 2 years old, 1.5, when they're speaking, are swearing, where do you think that influence is coming from?
Yeah, I agree. Here's where I will differ with what your thought process is, because and again, you don't see it often, but I see it in adults because I see that too, but I also see it in kids also. The lack of empathy and compassion in some kids, if they're really on, okay, so between 0 and 4, the kids are on autopilot. They're a series of programs, right? We're not conscious. We have no memory of that. We're just doing what you're saying we're doing, right? But so when you realize that some of these 2, 1, 3-year-olds have no empathy or compassion, you start to wonder. Again, I'm not ruling it out. I'm not saying that they don't have any soul in there at this point. I don't know. I personally believe we do not incarnate that young. I believe we incarnate older. The body's not a vessel yet, basically, is what I believe. And I haven't heard anybody talk about this, but the level of incarnation and when we incarnate, I think happens in different parts of our lives. I think that's why I believe in clones, because I believe that absolutely, genetically speaking, at some point in our past, we have been bred to be vessels in which consciousness can come in from somewhere else. I'm pretty sure that's what happens, but I'm not sure I can prove it. Anyway, the lack of empathy in the last 4 or 5 years around this time in America as well, with the election, there's just, I believe in the law of perspective 100%, but it's the empathy, the lack of empathy, the lack of compassion, the lack of just being a human. You can be a human one day to 20 different people, and the next day to a complete stranger, you're a complete devil. Something's missing in their not only their consciousness, but in their foundation of their soul, in my opinion. And that's what I've seen. It's not just that people are ignorant or they have the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They're neurologically not fit. All those things, 100%, I agree with you. But it's the empathy that when you drill down, that makes me go, I don't understand. How can somebody be in there?
Yeah, but like I'm saying, at that very young age, children are like sponges. And the problem that we have is that young children are exposed to technology from the time they come out the womb. So the actual programming and the neurological programming coming from the technology happens at an extremely young age. So the only reason why children will not have empathy, young children, is because they're being programmed. How many children do you see now, 6 months old, have tablets in their hands and mobile phones? A lot of them.
I haven't seen many that young, but I understand your point. A
Dude.
year or 2 years, yeah, I get it.
Dude, we are having a different evolution of children now, where children are becoming a lot more advanced, younger. So what is happening is that children are being exposed to television, music, and all
Programs.
these
They're being programmed.
programs from very, very young. So what is happening is that the reason why the children would be like that at a young age is because of the external programming. This is why I'm saying that we have to be very careful with the exposure to technology. If you have children that are not influenced by these things, I can almost guarantee you that they're going to be a lot more loving and empathetic.
Yep. Yeah. No, you're right. Have you seen some of these videos on this topic? That some of them are political. They ask you, "Oh, why do you hate Donald Trump?" Or I'm just giving you an example, but they're different areas, and they'll say, he's a misogynist." They say, "Can you give me an example?" No, not really. Or, but you hate him so bad. Yeah, yes, he should die. And then they can't give you any examples, like the Mandela effect almost. When you'll tell somebody something and you'll say, "Hey, do you remember the Monopoly man with the monocle?" Yeah, I remember that. And then you go, "He never had a monocle." And they go, "Oh yeah, I guess he didn't." Like the level of processing doesn't exist. There's nobody in there.
But dude, it even is even deeper than that. And I love when people talk about misogyny. I ask people when they use that word, please define misogyny. The vast majority of people that use the word misogyny can't even define it.
Because there's nobody in there.
How can you use a word and you can't define what it means?
Well, they've heard it.
They've heard it.
As you said before. But my whole point of this whole conversation is about the soulless, or not having a soul, is there's no inner dialogue there. There's no problem solving to even get to it. They just shut down. It's unbelievable.
I think that they have a soul, but I think that the programming has been extremely good, right?
But these are engineers. These are doctors. These are people who cannot think. They cannot add 1 and 1 + 2.
But this is a testament to the programming, because what people don't understand is that I can give you a classic example to prove my point. I'm giving an analogy.
Yeah.
A young adult of 18 years old, if they have had over 100,000 images or impressions of Coca-Cola in there from 0 to 18, 100,000 impressions, right? This is why you have people that can't stop drinking Coca-Cola, right? And in Mexico, I think that Mexicans are the biggest consumers of Coca-Cola on the entire planet. Dude, they have 3-liter bottles of Coca-Cola in the planet.
Yeah,
They're-
Central and South America too, because I know Brazil is insanely crazy with it too.
So my point is that I go back to the original point. You are a product of your environment. And from the time you come out the womb, you have children, young children that are going to be exposed to the technology, right? And the technology, whether they can see it, but they can hear it, has subliminal programming in it. So I do think that everyone, when they're born, they have a soul. But where it differ is that the technology that the Matrix has put in the Matrix is so good that it basically takes children that are on the spectrum of genius level from the time they enter schools, and when they come out of schools, they're mindless drones. It's not that they've lost their soul, it's that the programming has completely shut down creativity, empathy, love, and all that kind of stuff. Let me give you a classic example. Why would children know about racism? Because we adults tell them about it, right?
Well, we give them a definition and they just assume they know what it is, like misogyny.
Good.
Oh, I know what that is. I know what that is. It's when
Good.
I'm white and you're black. Like, that's not racism. Me saying that I'm white and you're black is not racist.
Exactly.
Like, let's get it right.
So you have the programming in a child's mind to think that this racism thing exists on the level that the media tries to tell you. Do some people hate other people's skin color? Yes. Is that the vast majority of people in the world? No. No. But the way the programming from the media and social media will have it is that the racism is like in every corner of the world. You can't even leave your house without being racially attacked, etc., 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 etc. All of that is programming, right?
Yeah.
So my point is the
example,
environment. We need to change the environment.
We do. I'm not sure it can change, is I guess my point. But my favorite programming thing would be to ask all the religious people who are prejudiced or racist and ask them, hey, you had a soul? Yes, I have a soul. So this is your soul? This piece, this meat suit is your soul? No, of course it's not. It's God. No, God gave me a soul, and blah blah blah. Well, if this isn't you, then why are you prejudiced? What color is your soul? How stupid are you? Like, how ridiculous does that sound to some people who back up that this isn't them, but this is them? Like, you
True.
just completely buy in. It's just it's unbelievable to me.
True.
Okay, so I have I'll convince you eventually, bud, about Soulless. No problem.
Well, like I
Gotcha.
said, part of me does agree, and there's another part because
and I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I hope that everyone has a soul, but I know genetically speaking, I don't think it's possible. That we're so far advanced in technology that I don't think it's possible that synthetically we're not making humans. I don't think it's possible. I mean, look at Hollywood. There's no way. These pictures of these people being reincarnated into vessels and into bodies. No way.
like I say, I sit on both. I sit in between both because the way people act, then yes, you would say that the way they're acting, they can't have a soul. But when two people procreate, have a baby, the baby that comes into this world would have a soul. But I think that what happens is that you get less connected to it through the programming and then also the jabs, right? These are things that suppress human genius levels and suppress you having your basically connecting to your innate abilities. So that's why I say that.
Mm-hmm.
So to prove, to agree with your point, the people that we're seeing today that are doing crazy stuff, I would say they don't have a soul because they're purely not connected to it. But I think they probably had a soul in the beginning because when you're born, you have one. But I think what happens that it is something like a gene almost that gets turned on and off.
It's possible, but I got one last comment for you to see if I can sway you. Okay, so I already know what you're gonna say, but we're all energy, yes? We can agree upon that.
Yes.
Okay, we're all energy. Okay, I'm a simulationist. I see the matrix. You've seen some of the matrix, the
Yes.
digital ones and the zeros. Okay,
Yes.
so if there's no matter here, if it's just energy being observed to create particle into object, then why do we think that we are physical beings and that we cannot make an unphysical energy vessel?
Well, the thing is that you're right. In reality, nothing is actually solid.
Basically, we don't need a soul to have an experience.
No.
Our consciousness,
You
as
need your
you've seen,
imagination.
OBE you anywhere.
You need your imagination.
You don't even need a body to go hang out and have an astral travel experience.
No,
right?
You just need your imagination.
So if you here, last one. You leave your body on out-of-body experience. Do you think that you think that it's possible that leaving your body could operate on programs? Anybody's body, not just, I don't want to say you did DMT and you flew out. Your body's not going to get up and go to the gas station and get something to eat. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, do you think that the soul is required for a body to operate? In theory.
In theory, yes.
You do.
Yes.
You think a body needs...
The soul seems to be the connection between the body and the spirit. It seems to be that sort of link, because the spirit is like your essence.
What about animals? This is fascinating. It is
The thing is, right, is that with animals is just a lower level of consciousness and lower level. Because don't forget, animals have characters, you know. Animals.
Oh, I agree. I got a dog sitting right there, won't leave me alone. He has a whole personality, no doubt.
I think that is just at a different level.
So do you think that animals have souls? And then how much lower do we get there? Because again, we're talking about the level of consciousness required to operate in this reality. And all I'm saying is it's not required. That's our contention right now, is that I've broken it down into that. I would agree that it helps in discernment, it helps in empathy, it helps in many things, perspection, critical thinking. All these things are very important to having success, limiting suffering as a human being. Just obvious. Human, below human, animal, below domesticated animal, insect. I don't know.
Wild animal.
Yeah. What are we talking about here? Like, how low do we go?
You go all the way down to rocks. You go all the way down to rocks.
So you think rocks have souls?
No, I think.
Oh, thank God.
No, I was going to say that.
Trees have souls?
Who knows? And the reason why I say that, right, is that they say that when you hug a tree, that you can feel its essence and it can help relieve stress. So,
yes.
like I said, there are things that are not of this world that we just cannot explain. And there are things that we're going to have to just, like, I don't want to say accept, but say that we can't give physical evidence for why they exist or why they are until we upgrade our consciousness. That's what I would say. But a rock seems to be the lowest level of life form. When they say life form, I don't mean it has a beating heart, but the molecules in the rock vibrate so slow.
It has elements and its energy, but its vibration is different.
So slow that it has that stagnant state.
I do believe someone could be a rock. I believe a soul could be in a rock. I just don't believe that all rocks have souls. See, the difference is the same as a human. I believe that almost all humans are vessels, which means they're able to vibrate at a level that could house consciousness. But I absolutely do not believe that every human has a soul. Or we're just vessels. Animals are vessels, and I can show you examples. And if you want to look, you can look too. But if you've ever seen like a gazelle in an alligator's mouth, gazelle,
yeah.
whoop, gone, like out. Yeah. It's out. It's not struggling after slight suffering. It's out. It's not going to stay in there. It's out. It's a vessel. Yet it's not dead yet. It's a vessel. Same with humans. When humans can manifest death, absolutely. It happens all the time with older people. They say, I don't want to eat anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. They're gone.
True.
They're gone. So same way, I think that we're all vessels. I think trees can be vessels. Absolutely. If somebody wants to experience life as a tree or as a tree, I think that 100% manifestation happens. And the key to manifesting our reality is the limit of the parameters of the suffering that we're willing to experience. And I think that's part of our soul contracts. And when we're done, we let our higher selves know, I'm done. I don't want to experience this anymore. And our reality changes. We can either choose to stay and experience the change, or we can leave. That's what I firmly believe that. I've seen it in my own life.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. The only thing, like I said to you, is that I do sit on both sides of the fence, because where I agree with you that about not having souls is that the people that we see today that just repeat things that they say off the media, and people that like NPCs and like the people that you say, well, what do you hate Trump? Those people I think are soulless, right? And the reason why I think they're soulless is because their actions, I'm looking at the attributes, the fruit of the tree, right? But I think that when you're born, I think human beings, because of the immaculate conception that happens, because what people don't realize that even for a woman to get pregnant is not even that easy, you know. It is actually like a miracle.
It's
you know,
it's divination, absolutely.
right?
It's divine.
So
Yep.
so I think that when we all are born, I think that we have souls, but I think that where I differ now is that I think that it seems to be the programming and the technology combined with the jabs that children get, because the jab schedule for children now, like now, is almost like 80 or 90
it's crazy. Yep.
from 0 to 18 years old. So I think that all of those things are designed to suppress the actual innate ability.
You're backing up my theory, bud. You're backing it up. Those people who are mandating these things, from the Rockefellers to the viral theory and everything else. Do you think those people have souls, knowing
No.
what they're doing? No.
This
They
is
don't.
what I'm saying. That I think that the attributes of the people don't have souls because they can't
The
have
attributes,
souls.
right? Yep.
This is why I didn't disagree with you, but I'm just showing you some context.
Yeah, I got you.
For you to do things like that, you have to be
It's
soulless.
unconscionable. And I believe that I believe that the soul's journey is to elevate. The soul's journey is to experience, but also to grow, to learn. And again, you know, I'm kind of like I'm doing the Trump weave, even though I'm not really a fan of the human, but I'm doing the weave. I'm coming back in. If we're here to evolve and learn and process information to make those things, you have to be able to process information to learn, to develop, to know, to experience. And what I've seen is the people that are out there that I believe don't have a soul are not able to do that. They're not able to experience that. And that's the major component that I'm like, there's no God spark there. There's no soul spark.
I agree. I think that has been turned off through all the influences. Basically, this is why I say that you're a product of your environment, right? Because can you imagine, right?
But your environment shouldn't be able to turn you off to common sense.
It can. Think about it. Just think about it, right? You have a child that's now born, and in that household, that child is subjected to hardcore gangster rap, or if not even have to be hardcore gangster rap. Let's just say the garbage that's in the music industry right now, where you're talking about
trap music, trap.
Dude,
that's a great. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good getting to it in the garbage can.
But dude, think about it. You have a young baby.
Those guys making trap music don't have a soul either. Just go ahead.
Can't. You have a young baby that's born, and they're being subjected to that. Their subconscious mind is picking up all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then look at the food that the parents are going to give them, right? Processed food. First, the mother is not going to be breastfeeding her until maybe the child, because you should really be breastfeeding. I think it's up to 2 years, right? But within 6 months, You know what I mean? They're off of that and they're on formula, which is all processed, right? So you're getting false nutrition from false formula. Then you're getting the mind being saturated with garbage and debauchery. You have artists that talking about my hole at the back is brown and my insides are pink and all that kind of stuff. So what are you telling, what are you programming the children with, right? All of these are things that are turning off the connection to the soul, right? Slash the spirit, right? And then you have no, when they get older, they're watching TV, right? That is full of programming. Like if you look, there's a, I put up a meme on Saturday, but there's a patent. You can Google it. If you want, I can find it. That basically there's the patent that shows that they can program the neurological system through screens, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they
I've
are
seen it.
programming us, right? So that's why I say that it is the programming that is turning off more and more the connection to your actual self.
But
And
to
then
me,
when
that's just showing the difference between this side of the fence and this side of the fence.
yes,
Because I mean, you can see all kinds of things about, I see 2-year-old, 3-year-olds do bad things. They throw a ball at somebody, they get upset, they get mad. Okay, they get neurologically, they're charged, they're emotionally. But
yeah,
once you
they're
sit
no
them
learning.
down, and go, listen, it's not nice to throw the ball. Would you want them to throw the ball at you? No. Are you sorry? Yeah, I'm sorry. Somebody's in there.
Exactly.
But if you get a kid that goes, and I'm not saying that that person has a soul. I don't know. I'm just saying in general. But there's another kid that you go, that's not nice. Oh, I don't like him. I want to hurt him. Like, wait a minute. I just told you that's not nice. I explained to you, like the rational mind is not in there necessarily for everyone, and for adults too. But the personality traits only go so far. Like the internal dialogue needs to be like, hurt, don't hurt. Why am I doing? Oh, forget it. Just hurt him. Like, wait a minute, what?
But that is coming from severe levels of trauma in that child's household. People don't understand that your personality is forged from your childhood and is based on fears and traumas. So if you have a young child that is telling you these things, I can absolutely guarantee you that this trauma in his family has been severe at that age.
Have you ever
No,
seen the movies Damien Omen?
no.
It's like it's a devilish. He's the devil basically. He's Satan reincarnated almost. Damien Omen, and he has a great family, great childhood, and brothers and sisters or whatever, and he just goes around killing people. And you're like, this little boy is possessed evil, and that's kind of like I think that's showing us that there are people that are not sympathetic, empathetic people.
Don't forget, it's in a movie, which means it's there to
They gotta
program
show
you.
it to you.
It is there to program you. This is why it's called television programming. It is, look, let me break it down in
I
another
thought you were
level.
on my team, man.
I do agree. Like I said, I do agree with you, but let me break it down for you.
No, we're just talking. It's a good conversation.
Human beings run on programs. Everything in this universe runs off a program, right? But what it is that the malevolent people that run this planet understand this. So this is why they have to get us early to instill the programs in us so that we would be going off of those programs instead of loving, compassionate, and kind programs. I guarantee you that children that live in the Amazon or have no contact with technology aren't like that. That is an almost
I don't know, man.
guarantee. Dude, I'm telling you.
They're going to be fight or flight all day long. They're running from lions and snakes and shit.
Yeah, but that's different. That's different. The programming from the technology, people don't really understand how effective it is. And the reason why I say that is that we just had the entire planet got shut down 4 years ago, and people injected themselves with poison.
Not a lot of people. People with common sense ask questions, and you can do whatever. You're free to do whatever you like with your body. Let me just say that YouTube, don't strike me. We're just talking about individual situations that happen to Todd's family members. That's why he's saying that. It's an actual situation. It's not a hyperbole. It's his situation. He's saying that. It's not. So that's allowed. Allow that. You know that's how you can say it, right? It has to be a situational experience. It can't be in generalization.
Well, this is the thing. Like I said, I agree with you, but I think it's more nuanced. And the reason why I think it's nuanced is that it is the programming. This is why it's called television programming and it's called radio programming. It's all about programming us, right? And what people don't understand is that human beings are easily programmable, but we're also, and at the same time, we're easily programmable to be good, and we can also be easily programmable to be bad.
It's all perspective.
Well, it's all about, it is what it is, because you take children and you give them the right environment, right? And they will thrive. And the reason why I'm very confident is that I have been with women who've had children. And every time I've come into their children's life and I have been an influence in certain things, those children have always changed their attitude. And the reason is, it is all about how you program them, right? Quotation marks. If you give them positive influences, you will see how their attitude changes, right? But children only because they don't understand.
Let me tell you about my wife and my 23-year-old stepson. She was living with her sister. He was 7. My nephew was 5. My wife's sister, and we were just dating. And I came in with candy. You know, I was the good guy. I came in. My stepson now didn't want no candy. One day, about a week after we were dating, we were playing a board game or something, or spoons or something. And this little boy came up with a baseball bat and popped me in the you-know-what with it. I was very nice to that young man. And he was not nice to me. He's a great kid, but I'm saying I gave love doesn't always happen back to you. Sometimes the kid has
you see with 7, but don't
on,
forget, right?
place.
Don't forget, again, I go back. It's all about the programming from the media, the TV, the music videos. It comes through the radio waves, the technology. It is all programming. It is designed to influence us and to dumb us down and make us negative, right? This is why my view is that people that want to raise their children responsibly must do their best to reduce the amount of exposure the children have to technology until you can sort of like explain things to them that they can understand. Now, obviously, you know what I mean, you need to have them being able to use computers and stuff, but you need to let them play and build things and use their hands and be creative for as long as possible, because children today now, they don't have any creativity, because what we as adults do is we just stick a tablet or a smartphone in their hands, and all they do is they get addicted to screens, and we are addicted to screens as adults, right? What about the children? The children are even more addicted to screens than us.
We're trying to get more viewers on YouTube. It's okay, people. You can watch YouTube. He's not talking about YouTube. Hit the like and subscribe button to the Conscious Man 7 and to We Are One podcast. Ty was not talking about you. Keep watching.
No, obviously I was not talking with them, but what I'm saying is that you can use technology, can be used for very good, but at the same time, as adults, we have to be very honest with ourselves, and is that we have a problem with our addiction to it. I have seen people have withdrawal symptoms from technology, right? Look, dude, I used to work with a girl when it was in my second last job. And this is no exaggeration. I saw her touch her phone every single minute. I had to nudge my colleague to my side and I showed him. And even he was like, that's not normal. And that's how it is. we are addicted to our technology. And this is what Aldous Huxley said, that in the future, human beings will become addicted to their technology. And so said, so done, right? And this is the reason why he said the points earlier, that it is the technology that is basically shaping us and programming us, because the technology has been designed to change our neurological system, right? So this is why the attributes of the people that are being spit out when they come out of universities is they're soulless people. They just regurgitate what they've been taught and what they've saw, which is absolute garbage. Because, dude, and it's not just the United States that's suffering from this, it's in Europe as well.
Yeah,
Children
Europe's older indoctrinated.
Dude, kids are coming out. They go to university. You coming out of university with 50, 60, 70,000 pounds in debt, right? Going and studying gender studies, right? And then they're going out there in the world thinking that they want to make a change and an impact. And then they realize that they studied garbage. And then they have to go and work a job that's only paying, what, 8, 9, 10 pounds an hour, right?
What's the minimum wage where you're at? Do you know what it is?
I think it's like 150 pesos a day, which is like maybe 7 pounds something sterling.
You have a daily minimum wage?
Yeah, I think from memory, someone told me it's either 150 to 200 pesos a day.
Huh.
So I think at today's exchange rate, that's about 7 to 10 pounds. So that's about $10 to $14, something like that.
A day?
Aye.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, well, I was going to ask you. This was one of the things that woke me up to the fact that we don't live in a real world. Do you know, Mr. Fitness, what the world record is for push-ups without stopping?
That's a good one. I would guess 250.
You understand your mind controls everything, right?
Aye.
You got that part.
Uh-huh.
What if I told you the world record was over 1,000 push-ups?
Wow.
What if I told you the world record was over 2,000 push-ups?
Wow.
What if I told you the world record was 10,500 push-ups consecutively?
That's next level.
Doesn't seem like it's possible. Doesn't seem like it's real. Even in someone in the fitness space.
Dude, I would almost. No, okay. Let me before I make a statement, let me ask a couple of questions first. I know that you say it's continuous, but is that with breaks
without stopping?
When they say breaks, like if you're at the top of the rep,
you're allowed to stop. You're allowed to pause. Yes.
Right.
I think he paused. I don't know how long it took him. You can look it up. 10,507, 1980. The guy did it. But when you realize how long that would take you, even if you're pausing, it's honestly not. It's like it was probably an 8-hour shift. I mean, how can your mind control the entire reality of your muscles in your body? That's what really, one of the things that woke me up was those kind of things, like just not possible things. Not possible.
I am lost for words because I do agree that the mind is stronger than the body, but I'm also where you are at saying that would probably take about 8 hours at least. I was thinking maybe half a day.
Yeah,
right?
It could have. And this has been verified. It's a Guinness World Record. It's not some guy saying he did it.
Because
it's crazy.
He when he paused, you mean he was paused in like?
I don't even know that he paused. To be perfectly honest, I don't know that he did. It says consecutive push-ups. I mean, you can look it up. I think he's a Japanese guy. He's Asian. Obviously, he's an Asian guy, like Bruce Lee. Minoru Yoshida of Japan in 1980 broke the world record. And the world record, and this is what's crazy, right? So I don't know if you know the story of the 4-minute mile guy. The 4-minute mile for forever was something that doctors said was impossible. Your heart couldn't take it. You could not run a 4-minute mile. It was not possible. The first guy did it, and then 2 more guys did it within the next week. Like, that's how crazy it is. So the world record for push-ups up to 1980, it was in 1977, was by an American named Henry Marshall. He did 7,650. So what is really incredible is not that he broke the world record, is that he broke the world record by almost 3,000 push-ups, more than the guy before him, which nobody could even sniff. So when your brain goes, hey, 2 more, we got the world record. And then you're like, 3,000 more is not that big of a deal. Like, are you shitting me?
That's incredible.
It's insane. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. This is the world we live in. Donald Trump is the president again. He was a crazy actor, orange man, who apparently is a felon, but he can become president twice. This is the crazy clown world that we live in, that anything is truly possible.
Well, I guess this, as the slogan goes, anything is possible once you put your mind to it, So,
or take your mind away from it.
Or take your mind away from it. Well, look, I don't want to comment too heavily without going and doing any research on it. But what I would say is that the human body is stronger than we think it is. And if you have like these monks in Tibet that can be in blizzards, barefoot,
can raise their body temperature in freezers.
Yeah.
Can raise their body temperature in below freezing weather with nothing on.
This is why I say that I don't want to comment, because without actually looking too heavily, without really looking into the details of it. So what I would say is that the body can achieve anything that the mind believes. And if monks in Tibet can do that, if this guy is really tapped into his body, I would say it's possible. But I don't think that he's operating on the same level as the average human being on Earth.
He's operating on a Bruce Lee level. Like literally, he's on a whole nother level where he's seeing shapes and stuff, and everybody else is, playing Monopoly, and this guy's playing like 3D chess.
Yeah, there's something that he's tapped into, because it doesn't. I think it just defies reality in terms of.
I mean, it's the placebo effect. I mean, it literally defies what doctors would tell you about lactic acid. I mean, I'm pretty sure 10,000 push-ups is gonna, how many studies do you have to take? How many people could do 100 push-ups before they have lactic acid just all through their arms, and they're going, okay, not possible. And this guy's going, oh, I got 10,400 more. Don't worry. And they're gonna go, huh?
Dude, I have a client, right, that he does 300 push-ups a day, every single day.
Oh! I didn't tell you what I was doing to challenge myself. So when I found this out, this is within a year. This is the COVID year. So in January, it was my last day. So I said, I want to do 300 push-ups a day. What was my goal? Is what it actually was. I said I want to do that. I'll do it for whatever. My math is horrible right now, but I'm going to do it to do 10,500 push-ups. I'm going to do that. How long will it take me? I started out at like 300. I went to like 400. The last day I did it in 9 days. The last day I did 1,800 push-ups, and I played 18 holes of golf in the same day. I did 900 push-ups before golf, and I did 50 on every tee box and every green. So I finished my routine out, and about 2 days later, my arms were so bad. They were so weak. I mean, it was like I finished the climb of Mount Everest, and I was done. But dude, I did it in 9 days.
Dude, my client is amazing. He does 300 push-ups a day. And since he's been training with me, he still does 300 push-ups a day.
You're not pushing him hard enough, man. Tell this guy he needs to do 10,507 push-ups. And
please don't tell him that, because he would probably want to try it. Because
but there you go. Next time you see him, I want you to bet him something stupid, like
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do 500.
That. If you can guess how many push-ups is the world record in a row.
No, he trains hard. He's in good shape though. He's in good shape. So shout out to you, Jameson, man. You're a good lad. You're a good lad.
Jameson.
Yeah.
Jameson, you're nothing, Jameson. I mean, 10,507 or nothing. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. No, just kidding. Well, man, listen, this has been a great talk. I'm gonna break this up into 2 talks probably, because it's been 2 hours. I'm gonna do a fitness one, and then I'll do the health and fitness one probably separate, and I'll give you access to both of them if you want.
Nice one.
You can put them all together, or you can do them separate, whatever you want. It'll be in one recording, but I'll break it up for my YouTube channel, just because I think two different kind of people trying to watch these. It may be a fitness person and it may be a spiritual person. Who knows? But they kind of they did the weave. We did the weave, Donald.
But this is the thing, right? I can talk about both sides like very, very easily because I am all of those things. You know what I mean? I delve in.
You but just should have cut it. You should have just man. You were. I'm gonna cut that. when I play, it's gonna be like I can talk about each of these things because I am. Yes, yes, I am. Yes, that's you.
True.
No.
I'm a bit of a hybrid. Where like, okay, if you think about it, I do calisthenics and I do weights. I'm a fitness trainer, but I'm also diving into the spiritual realm and talk about conspiracies and self-development. Then I was born in Barbados, and then I'm fluent in Spanish and Portuguese, right? So I'm kind of a bit of a hybrid, right? And I've traveled quite a lot, and I used to be a civil engineer. So
Right.
I'm a bit of a hybrid of so many. I'm a combination of so many different things. So for me, it's hard for me to be like just like one track minded or just one style. I think I get that from my father because he's like a bit of a jack of all trades, and that is one of the things I've picked up from him. And I do podcasts. You know what I mean? Like, who would have thought?
Well.
Like you know that I would
That's
be.
our gift. That's our gift. The gift of gab and the gift of knowledge and the gift of just saying something that somebody might resonate with and want to go in 100 directions. That's what I watch YouTube for. I don't watch it for knowledge necessarily. I watch it to get inspired or for someone to be to muse, not amuse me, muse me, make me. They'll be my muse. I'll see something, they'll say something, and I'll be like, I'm gonna go in that direction. It'll be either a signal, a sign, a message, and I'll just jump into that rabbit hole for like a week.
Aye.
Love it. I love doing that. So, but man, hey, thank you for joining me. We're gonna do this again. When you watch that video with Danny Jones that I sent you, take some notes because I want to hear your experience because I have zero. I've never smoked
Sure.
weed. I got jacked up on 3 gummies one time for like a week, and never again. I don't like that feeling. So I'm not sure I can do DMT, but I would consider it maybe one day. And I met a guy at the IMEC. His name is Lee Allen. He's got a Crazies Lab is his YouTube channel, and he's a shaman also. And he's like an hour and a half from me. So we need to talk. I invited him, but he was working today. So next talk, I'm going to invite him, and we'll have a good conversation. I'll ask questions that I know nothing about.
Yeah, sure, man. Well, people, if you enjoyed this talk, then you want to hear more, well, you can always find me on Instagram at Adriano_246, or my name, Todd Cave, and I help spiritually inclined people burn fat and build muscle. So with, the season of gluttony, as I call it, is fast approaching, and you would like to break that cycle of getting fatter every single year, because it is this time of the year that people actually put on the most weight. And then they have these January New Year's resolutions, and 98% of people that have New Year's resolutions fail within the first, I think it's three months. 50% fail by January.
Days. I would say 30 days.
It's like 50% fail in 30 days, and like 98%, something like that, within 3 months.
That sounds about. You said Adriano_246.
Correct.
Man, I got a memory. These things are working, baby. These things are working. Alpha DPC. I can't remember the word I was looking for before, but what I do? Oh, there you go. Hold on. There's his Instagram, Adriano246.
Yeah.
You can catch him on Spreaker also.
Yep. The Conscious Man 7.
What's that?
The Conscious Man 7 on Spreaker.
That one.
Yep.
I'm on it.
Yep. And then also, people, I help y'all to connect with magic mushrooms. So if you're on a spiritual journey, or you want to overcome some fears and traumas, you want to help to connect with your higher self and get some, help and assistance from your higher self and some questions answered, also connect with me on Instagram at Adriano_246, and I will help you to get some magic mushrooms. And I also have a merch store to help support the podcast. So if you like, amazing,
a cool shirt,
shirts like this. This is the one
called
called
"Truth Learned, Truth Realized."
Correct. So
and the truth doesn't need your consent. Lies do.
So the name of the store is Todd and Me. So links for that will also be in this podcast.
Todd
show
and me
lots of,
is one word.
yes, yeah, Todd and me. I'll send you a link to the store.
Okay. Yep.
So yeah, people, if you want to help support the work that we do, because that helps us to upgrade the equipment and all that kind of stuff. So go there and support the store. And also, I also have my own podcast and I do fitness stuff on my social media. So you can find me everywhere. All the links I'm gonna give to Ken, and you can check me out and stuff like that. And I just want to say, Ken, thanks for having me on again. It was a interesting chat. We didn't
Always.
talk about any Anunnaki stuff today, which is a surprise.
And check out my
Surprising.
man right here. Check him out on Tinfoil Hat. Todd Cave. Type in Tinfoil Hat and Todd Cave. Some of you got to watch that show. It's pretty good. Sometimes it's a little bit out there, a little bit negative, but
That was a good
talk
show.
y'all had with
That was a good show. Yeah. So
It
yeah,
was,
just
man.
thanks for having me on, man, and I really enjoyed the chat.
Appreciate it. Me too. I'm gonna get you back on with the other shaman guy. I'm gonna fire the questions at you guys and see if you guys can convince me to come down to Peru or something.
You don't even have to go that far, dude. Just hit me up. I hook you up with my contact here in Mexico, right?
In Mexico?
And
Okay.
yeah, it's closer, cheaper, and you don't have to travel so far in the jungle.
I'm such a chicken, dude. I've never done a drug before. Obviously, not really. So like, I don't want to have a bad experience. The guy was talking on the Danny Jones show. Danny Jones just did DMT for the first time, and he was like, it was a great experience. And I'm like, I would love to say that. I would be freaked out to not say that.
So there's a few things to it. One is the dieting. So when I say dieting, I call it the protocol. So for example, if you're going to do ayahuasca for 2 weeks, you'd have no high levels of sugar. And I mean, when it says salt, so things like stevia or monk fruit, Himalayan salt, sea salt, those things are fine because those are natural. But I'm talking about the processed sugar and the table salt. Those things are bad. Things like the canola oil and seed oils, those are bad. Olive oil and coconut oil or avocado oil, those are fine. No red meat, no pork, no sort of like stimulants.
The
like
DMTLs don't fuck with pork.
Nope, they hate it.
Wow.
So things like red meat, pork.
Is that why it's in the? Is it in the Bible? Is that why?
No. It for some reason this is like this has been passed on for thousands of years. The energy just doesn't resonate well with it. So things like chicken, fish, turkey, those are fine, right? Those are not a problem. But then other things like stimulants like cannabis or alcohol and stuff like that, those are no. No sex, masturbation, or anything like that, because you need to have the energy. And this goes for both girls and boys, right? So no sort of orgasm at all, none of that. Because what happens is that because you're going into the spirit world, you need that energy inside of you to help you to have. I don't know why, but again, this is what has been passed down.
This is gonna be we're gonna talk about this next time for sure. I want to get the other guy, Lee Allen, on here, and I want to fire some questions at you guys. But yeah, I would love to do it. If you're planning a trip to do it in 2025, let me know. I might be down.
Okay.
I might be chicken, but I might be down. You never know.
No, it's dude. And honestly, the place that I would take you is very good. I've done 3 ceremonies with him. Actually 4. I've done 4 ceremonies with him, and great shaman. And what I would say is that is all about and the other thing about the doing ayahuasca is your intention, right? The other thing is the cleaning of the environment, but the shaman does all of that preparatory work for you, so you don't have to worry. But this is why it's important to have a good shaman where you can do ayahuasca. Because
so roughly, what does that cost for not for the trip, but I mean for that part of the what that package is?
From memory, a single room with boarding, food, and ceremony is $160 a night.
Okay, that's doable. That's no problem.
That's what I'm saying, right?
That's less than your chocolate bar, buddy.
So this is what I'm saying, right?
I'm gonna do a chocolate bar too, but I need to save up some money first.
So this is what I'm saying to people that this is what I'm telling you, that you could come down here, because with Peru now, you have to travel like 3.5 hours just to get into the jungle. But where I would take you, you just have to travel like 1.5 hours away from the
There's a
major
place in
city.
Orlando here that does it too, but I don't think I would want to mess with that. My friend did it in Orlando. I have a friend that did it too.
Okay.
He was a civil engineer also. Just he's on a spiritual journey too, but he did his in Orlando.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it's a famous place now, but
Okay.
interestingly enough. But
So,
yeah, I
yeah.
would be interested in going to Mexico to do it for sure.
Yeah, so it's not super expensive, and you get treated really well. And then the only other cost would be like the taxi that you would take to get there, but I think it's like $95 per car. So what will happen is if you go
Yeah,
with
3 people. So
people, yeah,
that's
you
nothing.
split the cost. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
affordable. It's affordable, right?
Okay.
And I have actually interviewed the shaman already as well. So anyone that wants to learn more, you can check. I think from memory, it's episode 32 on my podcast, Remy Delon. So if it's not episode 32, just check. Actually, I can tell you right now, so that I give you the right
Remy what?
information.
DeLong?
Remy Delon, Delaune. Okay, he's French. So let me
that
tell
right?
you.
Delaune?
Yeah. Let me double check. No. Yep, that's it.
Okay,
Journey
cool.
Beyond the Veil, Unlocking the Secrets of Ayahuasca and Psychedelics.
I'm
with
definitely
Remy
going to check
Delon.
that one out before we talk next.
Yeah. So check that out. Very good show. And I have an episode coming very soon with my other shaman who is for Bufo Alvarius, which is the one you smoke, comes from the frog. So some really good content coming on my show. So stay tuned to my show, and you learn all these kind of things.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Awesome. I appreciate the time. I got to go play soccer right now, so I got to
Sure,
run.
man.
But thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Check out Todd's channel, The Conscious Man 7. Help him grow as well. Help him learn and grow. My name is Ken. This is Todd. Signing off.